Bharat Dabolkar, do you agree with this philosophy that we are being selective, or do you think that it's very clear anyone who resorts to violence must be condemned? Why should Kunal Kamra be the one condemned? Yes. The condemnation should be on the violence.
I think Kunal Kamra was wrong, but I think Shiv Sena, which vandalized his property, were more wrong than Kunal Kamra was. You can react, as somebody said, you can go to the court, but you can't get into beating up people, you can't get into destroying
So why
property.
is that happening? Why is that happening? Rahul Kanal came on my show yesterday and said, I get emotional. Is that an argument?
But Rajiv, that is happening with every political party. A girl called Ketki was jailed because she said something against the NCP Supremo of that time. Somebody was jailed because somebody said, I'll come and chant Hanuman Chalisa outside your house. So every party is wrong. It's not just Shiv Sena. I think whether it's BJP, Shiv Sena, DMK, all the parties, they are so sensitive about things that they let their goons go into whatever they want to do and no one restricts them. I think the fault lies with the leaders of these parties.
You know, the fault lies also with our policing system, Sumant Raman, because as you said, Chennai hasn't filed an FIR as yet, at least at the time when we were doing this show. In Mumbai too, the police is seen to virtually follow whatever the government wants. And where you stand in Indian politics depends on where you sit. Today, Aditya Thackeray is the one condemning thuggery. And yet, remember, it was the Shiv Sena which started Thokshahi.
Raddeep, the other important thing you should remember is many of these stand-up comics have criticized people across the political spectrum. And very often, I'll give you an example. In this case, this is not a stand-up comic, but was one of the fiercest critics of the previous AIDMK government when it was in power. When the DMK came to power, he started attacking the DMK government. And the same DMK leaders were lapping up his videos when they were in the opposition, suddenly had their guns out for him. So I think this level of hypocrisy, saying that you cannot criticize, you cannot level charges, you cannot make jokes or make fun of us. I mean, we've heard of people, you know, the famous cartoonist R.K. Lakshman and his cartoons on Pandit Nehru and Indira Gandhi, and we've heard about the relationship that Mr. I think Shekhar Suman had recited a very nice story about how he used to, make fun of Mr. Vajpayee, and Mr. Vajpayee had a huge laugh about it. There was a video today of Mr. Lalu Yadav enjoying somebody making fun of him. I mean, this is something that is noted and put out as comedy. Maybe you don't like it, you feel it's defamatory, go to court.
Maybe our politicians, Mr. Sumant,
vandalism is not
maybe our politicians have become more intolerant. You know, the Vajpayee era that you referred to was an era where politicians had a higher sort of tolerance quotient. I want to tell our viewers, I once criticized Barasaheb Thackeray. Shiv Sainiks came to my office, black flags, black ink. I had to move through the back door. But a month later, Bal Thackeray called me and asked me to have a warm beer with him. So he was ready at the end of the day to accept perhaps that, criticism. He was a cartoonist himself. And the truth of the matter is, maybe in that generation, politicians were more willing to accept criticism. Now in the age of social media, our politicians have become far more prickly. You agree with that, Sameer Soni? Could you do a film, you think, lampooning politicians today? Sameer, could you do a program on TV?
Do a program on TV about what?
About lampooning politicians? Do you think you could get away with it today?
I can't. Look, okay, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure I won't. But let's not digress. You know, this is, if you take this, what is happening right now has been happening for years and years and years, right? Because the fine line that separates with what is okay and acceptable is so fine. You never know when you are stepping on somebody's toes. And what happens is you're constantly pushing the envelope to find out where does that line lie. And you get pushbacks. Similarly, we didn't have digital stuff. We did not have stand-up comedians earlier. So they're pushing and they're getting the pushbacks. And very soon this will settle down to a different thing. For example, when you and I were in school, if we didn't do our homework, a teacher would come and, slap us with a ruler or something. Today it would be considered child abuse. Things have changed. We do change. We accept the new normal, what happens. That's how societies are built.
You make a good, I take
So,
your point with only one caveat. One thing which is unacceptable is violence. Think about today, I want each and every one of you to think about the hotel studio owner. Please think about him. It's very easy for us to sit in a TV studio and comment on the fine lines. He deserves compensation in my view. He should be given compensation. And remember, Devendra Fadnavis, when he was in the opposition, had defended Kangana Ranaut and said, follow the law of the land. The same Devendra Fadnavis, now in government, says it is the Shiv Sainiks who defends the Shiv Sainiks and targets Kunal Kamra. Where you stand in Indian politics depends on where you sit. And that's part of the problem, just many of the problem. Yes, Tushar Gandhi, I'll give you a final word, 30 seconds.
You know, they sent a bulldozer to the venue where Kunal Kamra shot his show. But on Juhu Beach, there's a prominent illegal building which has been declared illegal. And demolition orders have been issued. But because it belongs to Narayan Rane, the bulldozer doesn't find the road there. That is selective vandalism. That is selective politics.
Okay.
That is politics of vendetta. And that has to be opposed strongly. No excuses can be made. I'm sorry, but most of these people over here have been making apologies to condone violence. That can't be accepted.
I agree with you entirely. Violence cannot be condoned. Whatever your provocation, find a better way to express yourself. That is where the line has to be drawn. I want to see the Maharashtra government now compensating the hotel studio owner. You want to build brand Mumbai, brand Maharashtra, brand India, walk the talk and really show that law and order is being maintained by you and not being outsourced to street thugs who are being sponsored by a political party. Think about it.